Chapter 1. The Egoic Mind. A synopsis. The facet of mind that I'm calling the egoic mind is what we consider as our own thoughts. Some insight: these are principally thoughts about ourselves and other people. Notions, opinions, and additional conditioned ideas, as well as wants, memories, illusions, hopes, dreads, and ambitions. They appear to belong to us, but they in reality belong to the false self, or ego, and don't bring anything to our lives, although they make for the dramatic events that this character that we understand ourselves as experiences. You are studying this course because you are ready to wake up from the dramatic events of being you and begin living as the true you in theory, which has been here right along, making believe to be this character. The trouble with living as this character is that it suffers as it has a lot of fake beliefs and damaging ideas and misinterpretations about life. The great news is that you don't have to trust the thoughts that this character was presented in the form of disciplining. You are able to, as an alternative, live as in essence, spontaneously and in reaction to the moment instead of in reaction to the egoic mind. And life will advance along very well. That might be hard for the ego to truly believe, but it is the reality which we are all meant to bring out. This book is intended to help you discover and trust who you truly are so that you are able to live as that rather than unconsciously responding to your disciplining. And the ego's drives for more of everything. The ego's appetite for more is never quenched, so we endure. Once we learn to live in the here and now, we discover that life supplies us with what we require, and that we have never needed what the ego anticipates in order to be content. We discover that, indeed, happiness has forever been here in that simple minute. Chapter 2. Understand. A synopsis. When we're simply present to what we are going through, we observe all types of sensory details that are commonly overlooked. The surprising thing is the amount of pleasure that may be felt in experiencing the simplest of matters totally. Notice the heat of the sun, the softness of cloth against the body, the brilliancy of the wild blue yonder, the squishiness of the planet below our feet, the fragrance of a pine tree, the buzz of something in the distance are all things to be experienced in the here and now. The ego isn't satisfied with these experiences, as it isn't fulfilled with anything. We aren't fulfilled with such things, either when we are identified with the ego, as identification with the brain keeps us from totally experiencing them. But what is life but the experience of these childlike things? The pleasure of being in the here and now goes beyond the delight of the senses. To go deeper into our heart and soul, there is a different, really crucial step. Once we are totally sensing without the blocking of the mind's comments, and that is to totally experience the essence that sensory experience has on ourself. When you look at that pretty flower or hear the songs of a bird, what effect does it have on your inner energetic experience? What is your self going through? Or a different way of asking this is, what is your heart and soul experiencing of this minute? What makes the selection of being in the here and now hard is that you have to surrender your need to understand. The ego provides you a fake sense of understanding, which is soothing, even though the ego doesn't truly understand where life is going or what will occur next. So all you truly have to give up is the pretense of understanding, not actual understanding. The reality is you don't understand what the next minute holds. That is both the challenge of being in the here and now, and really, the true pleasure of it. To be in the moment, you have to be willing to simply be and to react by nature to what arises out of the flow, without pretending to understand what to accomplish next or what will occur. The thing is, you have never recognized what was going to occur or what to accomplish next. Accepting that you don't understand lets you move out of your egoic mind and into the here and now, where real happiness, peace, and alignment with true self and its intentions are conceivable. Chapter 3, What's Important? A synopsis. The great news is that just about all of our thoughts are unneeded, not merely a couple of them. That makes discriminating between them much simpler. A crucial things, we don't have to go sorting through our ideas for the correct ones. We simply have to realize that egoic thought belongs to the false self and is consequently false and undeserving of our attention. We may disregard all the thoughts that associate to me and my story and all the other chattering, judgments, thoughts, memories, illusions, dreams, wants, likes, dislikes, doubts, fears, complaints, and additional negativity of the ego. What we are left with is a working mind that still recognizes how to read, calculate, utilize a computer, drive a car, abide by a map or instructions, and do all the additional things the brain was designed for. What a relief it is to recognize that the voice in our head may be ignored. May you believe this. Simply begin noticing how you don't require any of your thoughts to experience the here and now and accomplish what you need to accomplish. See for yourself, when you truly take in the beauty and anything else you're experiencing through your senses, you feel how your inner self is rejoicing and celebrating this instant, and you receive this energetically. This subtle energetic experience is the experience of the heart and soul of your true inner self. This subtle joy, expansion, relaxation, yes to life, is the radical happiness that comes from going through life as heart and soul experiences it. That subtle experiencing is in progress and ever present, but it frequently isn't noticed, as thinking is more obvious and compelling, even though thinking is really less rewarding. The more accustomed we get to being present, the more we start to live as our true self, which is a free and jubilant experience. The here and now isn't simply a place of sensory experience, though that's sufficiently rich, but where life comes out of. If we aren't paying attention to the here and now, we may miss what life is attempting to bring about through us. We may abide by the egoic mind's plans and thoughts for our life if we wish to, but something else right here and now has a plan, and that plan will be much more substantial than anything the ego has to provide. Surrendering to life isn't difficult in the least. It occurs simply and naturally whenever we quit paying attention to our brain's version of life and begin paying attention to life itself as it's coming out of the here and now. There's something else to do besides think, and that's to notice, to be aware of what is occurring now. Observe, look, feel, hear, sense, and give yourself fully to the experience you're having, and you'll drop into the here and now. For the most part, ideas are stabs at reality and tell us little about how to live in the here and now. Rather, they keep us at some distance from the moment. They keep us living in a mentally fabricated reality, the land of ideas, rather than the here and now. They interfere with life instead of enhance it. This is contrary to our deeply held notion that ideas are crucial, relevant, and meaningful. In some way, we have been convinced of this instead of the opposite, that they keep us from reality and facts. But that's what we're here to discover. Ideas are the structure of the ego and what holds it in place. Without them, the ego wouldn't live. This belief that ideas are crucial, valuable, and meaningful is the anchor that, when removed, causes the whole game to come apart. And where we land is smack dab in reality, in this live moment. Chapter 4, Experience Self. A synopsis. Who you truly are may only be experienced in the here and now, not through thought. When we move our attention away from thought onto anything else, we land in the here and now, and the experience of being present is the experience of our true self. This experience is one of affection, compassion, acceptance, pleasure, and contentment. When you feel these, You know you're identified with your true self instead of the ego. When you feel the opposite, discontent and unhappiness, you know you're identified with the ego, with your thoughts. Experiencing what you're going through and experiencing your thoughts are really different realities, really different experiences. When you're going through what you're experiencing, you're at peace, relaxed, happy, and absorbed, with no thoughts about me or how I'm doing, or any additional stories, which are the ego's version of reality. Instead of feeling reality, the ego tells a story about it, and that gets to be its reality. The egoic brain tries to get you to rush through life so that you don't experience life. Your sense of self vanishes. So the ego rushes you onto the next minute and promises a future where you'll at last be happy and able to breathe. But that future never arrives. It's a shell game. The brain promises you a better life if you listen to it, while it takes you out of the sole thing that's real, the here and now. That's not a great trade-off. The here and now is vibrant, alive, plentiful, and changing, regardless of whatever the real content is. This resonance, aliveness, and richness are the sole things that will ever satisfy you. What is artificial thoughts, illusions, and promises of the time to come may never satisfy you, but simply take you away from what may. Affection isn't an emotion, but comes from jumping into experience totally and being willing to truly have the experience you're having. Each moment is a chance to leap in with both feet, without holding back by assessing the experience. The egoic mind inserts itself in each moment, or attempts to, by assessing it, fretting about it, or reciting a story about it. This commentary doesn't heighten life or keep us secure, but merely distracts us from the experience and keeps us from being totally involved with it. Many individuals have one foot in their minds, as it were, and one foot in their experience. This does not feel the same at all as bearing both feet in the experience. Chapter 5. How to live in the here and now. A synopsis. What does it mean to live totally in the here and now? It means that your awareness is totally focused on the here and now. You're not worrying about the future or thinking of the past. When you live in the here and now, you're living where life is occurring. The past and future are fantasies. They don't exist. As the saying goes, tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is solely a concept. Tomorrow is always waiting to come round the corner. But around that corner are shadows, never to have light shed on, as time is always now. Use it. If you're not living in the here and now, you're living in fantasy. That seems to be a pretty great reason to live in the here and now, doesn't it? But how frequently are we fretting about things that have yet to come up? How frequently do we beat ourselves up for errors that we've made, regardless how much time has passed? The answer is a bit much. Not only will living in the here and now have a dramatic impact on your emotional well-being, but it may likewise affect your physical health. It's long been recognized that the amount of mental tension you carry may have a detrimental effect on your health. If you're living in the here and now, you're living in acceptance. You're embracing life as it is now, not as how you wish it would have been. When you're living in acceptance, you recognize everything is complete as it is. You may forgive yourself for the errors you've made, and you may have peace in your heart recognizing that everything that should happen will. The worst part about living in the past or the time to come is that you're abandoning your personal might. If you're not living today, you're abandoning your life. You're giving up your might to create. If there are alterations you'd like to make in life, it's best to do it today. If you're living in the past, you can't do anything about it. It's deceased. If you're fretting about the time to come, you're living someplace that doesn't exist. It hasn't occurred yet. If you wish to alter your life, the only place you may do it is in the here and now. But first you have to accept life as it is. When it comes down to it, your brain is the only thing keeping you from living in the here and now. In order for us to live in the here and now, Does this mean we have to abandon our innate desire to write our personal story and share it with other people? No, we shouldn't trade one extreme for another. What we truly want is to discover balance. If you follow these easy tips, you may begin living in the here and now and begin experiencing reality as it is. 1. Don't attempt to hush your mind. The most difficult thing to do when living in the present moment is, or attempting to merely witness life, is to not have the urge to attempt to hush your mind. When we attempt to hush the mind, we simply disturb it all the more. Rather, merely witness your thoughts as though they're pure sound. Don't attempt to judge your thoughts. There are no great thoughts or foul thoughts. Merely witness them as though they were noise. 2. You're not your thoughts. Too frequently, we identify ourselves with our thoughts. We really think we're the dialogue inside our brain. However, we're much more than just our thoughts. We're the power that moves through our brain, spirit, and body. Recognizing this helps us overpower our fear of quietness and silence. We may have peace knowing that when our brains are quiet, we're not losing touch with ourselves. 3. Take a breath, you're alive. For a minute, I'd like you to stop reading and merely pay attention to your breath. I'll wait as you center your attention on your breath. You'll observe that your breath is neither voluntary nor involuntary. It's something that you do, but at the same time, something that does you. When you center your attention on your breath, you get back into relationship with reality as like breath. Reality is both something you do and something that does you. It's co-creative. Rehearse conscious breathing to bring your brain back to the here and now. 4. Music for meditation. There's a lot of great music made to help with meditation. Music made for meditation may help us bring our attention back to the here and now and clear our mind. 5. Rehearse mindfulness. This isn't so much of a tip as it's a basic in living in the here and now. Rehearsing mindfulness means we practice our awareness in all our behaviors. Whether we're washing dishes or tying our shoes, our brain is centered on whatever we're doing. We're not thinking of the bills that we have to pay or the call we have to make when we get to the office. We're merely living in the minute. Wrapping up, are you only interested with adding days to your life and forgetting to bring life to your days? If so, you're not alone. This is an issue a lot of us have, and the reason we ought to all try to make a witting effort to live in the here and now. When we're living in the moment, we're completely immersed in what we're doing. I'm not suggesting in any way that we ought to attempt to live in the moment 100% of the time. As much as it would be great if we could, it's just not pragmatic. To do that, we would be setting ourselves up for failure. What I wish you to do is simply make an attempt at living in the here and now. This is a positive beginning and in the correct direction.